Hello guys, good morning. Today I'm going to discuss about what is the ecology and how the ecology is affecting and how the environment is affecting to our human beings and how they are affecting to our body. So before discussing these things, we first know about what is the diversity and how the diversity is come on the earth. You people have read about the evolution and you read about that genetic compositions like the chromosomes, sex inheritance, all these things, and how this is a transfer and Mendel's law, all these things. So diversity is not only found in the living organisms, it's also found in the subject like the chemistry, physics, biology, all these things. So biology itself is a diversified subject. You have to read about that cell and how the cell making the tissue making the organ, and organ making the organ system, and organ system making the organisms, and then organisms interacted with the environment, that is called the biospheres. Biospheres, it called like the if it is soils, it will like called the lithosphere. If with water, it is called the hydrosphere, and it is air, it is called the atmosphere. So in these things, biology is presented either as a botany, zoology and microbiology, or as a classical and modern. So here we will discuss about like that our living world is a fascinatingly diverse and amazingly complex. Why complex? Because from the cyanobacteria, archaebacteria to become a complex organisms like the human beings, like the plantae, and diverse animals are found on the earth. We can try to understand its complexity by its investigation process at various level of biological organizations, like we already told you that macromolecules, cells, tissue, organs, individuals, organisms, populations, communities, ecosystem and biomes. At the level of biological organizations, we can ask two type of questions. For example, when we hear the bulbul singing early mornings in the garden, or we may ask how does the bird sings. I think as a you people become a biology student, you already visited some parks, some like some like that forest area. I think you people visited, or have you seen that the plant animals, street side plant? If you staying in the villages, you have to more interacted with the natures. If you staying in that like if you live in the like Delhi area, like that city area, so you have to interact with that natures through the biological park, from the forest area, from the area of the agriculture field. So you have to differentiate and you have to see how the tree is differentiated from the paddy field, and how the plant of the wheat are differentiated from the mango tree, and why this complexity is coming, why that bulbul is singing, and why that myna is singing, or then making the noise, making the voice. So these are the some questions as a biology student, as a biological world, you should to differentiate these things. So why what the mechanisms is there that the bulbul is singing. There is a vocal cord, there is a bone inside of that neck they are singing, or something else. So we will see that some questions and then we will find the answers of these things, how this is the significance of these things. You have already learned about the previous classes. The ecology is a subject which studies the interactions among organisms and between the organisms and its physical abiotic environment. What is the abiotic environment? Already I think you people read that the abiotic environment is that they don't have the living life. Suppose that is the soil, that is the water, air, mountain, stone. These are some abiotic environment. What is the biotic environment? When we interacted with the plant, animals, microorganisms, these are some biotic environment. So ecology is basically concerns with the 4 level of biological organization, like the organisms, populations, communities and biomes. Here we see that we are the organisms. What is the organisms? We are the human populations. So human populations, that makes the organisms individual, like me, you. But when we are totally together, like the crowd of the human, it is called the populations. And communities, when we interacted with one another, that is called the communities, and we interacted with the environment, this is called the biomes. Biome is a very large area covering, like if we read about the, I think 7 biome is there, like the desert biome, tundra biome, these type of some of the biomes. So in this chapter we will explore ecology at the organisms and populations level. So organisms, I already told that you and me, all the organisms, like animals is organisms. So organisms and its environment. In ecology at the organism level is a essential physiological ecology which tries to understand how different organisms are adapted to their environment in terms of not only survival but also reproductions. In the reproduction chapter we may read about that 2 types of reproduction is there, sexual and asexual. Sexual reproduction, that means when the 2 parents are involved, the producing the offspring, that is called the sexual. And asexual is that only 1 parents are involved and that producing the offspring, that is called the asexual. Like asexuals, like the example is that amoeba, protista, bacteria, all these things are the producing the asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, that means human beings, the higher organisms is the sexual producing from the sexual reproduction. So here that ecology at the organismic level is essential physiological ecology which try to understand how different organisms are adapted to their environment in terms of not only the survival but also reproductions. I think bacteria is the living in all conditions. In the, suppose that in our small intestine there is some bacteria is there. In the saline level there is also bacteria there. But in which condition they are producing, how their reproduction is there. So they living in different condition and producing the different type of observing, not different type of observing. That means the identical observing, like the human beings only produce a human child. So you have to learn in these earlier classes how the rotation of our planet around the sun and then tilt of the axis cause annual variations in the intensity and duration of the temperature, resulting in distinct seasons. I think you people have read about the seasons, how the season is changes on the earth. Earth is revolving around the suns, and earth have nearly 3 to 4 season according to their climate. Suppose that take the example of the India, we have rainy season, winter season and summer season. These are the mainly 3 to 4 type of the season is there. Why it is coming? Why our season is changes? Why after the summer rainy season is coming and after rainy winter season is coming, and how it is possible? So you should read about these things. And I think you people know in the physics that the sun is statics compared to the earth is revolving around the sun, and it's tilted about the 2.7 degree on their axis. Because of the tiltation and the revolving around the suns, they have changes their seasons. And there is 2 types of because that earth is revolving around the sun on the elliptical path, and due to the tiltation we have here the 3 seasons like the summer, rainy and winter. So these seasons and distinct seasons give our precipitations and temperature, rain and formation of their different of biomes. Suppose that take the Rajasthan area. Rajasthan have very merely water, merely rainy season is there. That's why that soil is thirsty, soil is not able to grow vegetation because of the lack of water. So that why desert is there. So water is not there, and rainy season is the precipitation of the rain is not there, very merely rain is there. So that develop their biomes, like that is called the desert biome. Why that some rainforest? I think equatorial area you have to read in the geography or in physics or chemistry, something subject. Why that rainforest? Rainforest is nearly like the equatorial area, and equatorial area is the 0 degree on the earth, and in this line there is so many several country is lies, and then famous forest is there, Amazon forest. So why that is the rainforest is there? Because in this area the whole day, that means after the afternoon, there is a 100 to 300 millimeter of the rain is precipitation is there, so that the vegetation of the plant, grow of the plant and dense forest is there. So rainforest, that is called the rainforest biomes. Have you listened about that the Russian country, about the polar region, Arctic and Antarctic? So mostly part of the Russia and then Greenland in this country, because these are the found in the polar regions. So they have the whole year the snow is snowfall is there. So that is called the tundra Pradesh, tundra biomes. Why? Because that the snow and then very less sunlight is coming on that area, so snow is not melting, and that mostly of the part is covered with the snow. That is called the tundra biomes. So if we look the figure of the NCERT, you have to read about these things. One figure is that in the like the figure 13.1 in the NCERT, you have to understand from these things how the biome is looking. Suppose that if annual precipitation is that 50 and temperature is -15. That is called the Arctic and Alpine tundra. Already told you that in the polar region, because our earth is spherical, there is two pole, north pole and south pole. So north pole and south pole temperature is always -15. From 15, maybe in the winter season maybe go -40. So in that area, that always temperature is minus, and the precipitation of the water rain is 50. That is called the tundra biomes. Why? Because that earth is already covered with the snow. Next is that when temperature is 5 degree and precipitation is nearly, suppose the 200, that is called the coniferous forest. Coniferous forest, if we come from the polar region to the equatorial region, then you found the coniferous forest. And when temperature is nearly 10 to 25 and precipitation is 50, like the Rajasthan area of our country, and then Sahara desert in the western country, in that Arabian country. So that area have the 50 millimeter of the precipitation, and then temperature is 10 to 25 or 30. So this area is a desert because of the lack of the water. And in that area, if the precipitation is about the 0 to 100 millimeter, and then temperature is 25, that is called the grassland. And there is so many famous grassland in the world, like in the America, in the Argentina, and then South Africa. There is so many grassland area, and have you know that this grassland have the very good in the animal husbandry. Suppose that the cow, buffalo, the milk production is there in the grassland, because this is large area of the grassland is there, and that area have the grazing area is there, because that the grassland produce so many grass, and then cow and buffalo is able to take the green vegetation. So that is area of the milk production. Grassland area is mainly for the milk production, but it is a biome, that is grassland is the one biome. In that like the, suppose that go from that 10 degree to 25 degree or 30 degree, and precipitation is nearly 200, that is called the temperate forest. And when we go to the temperature from the 20 to 30 degree, and then precipitation is nearly 400 millimeter, that is called the tropical forest.